The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning, Kern County. It is 5 a.m. on this Wednesday morning. I'm Alex Fisher along with Nicole Gitsky. Maddie Jansen has the day off, spending some time with family. And get ready for it. We are on the way to to a warmer trend in our forecast. We're all having our eyes on Thursday and Friday. Today's obviously not going to be as bad as it's going to be tomorrow and Friday.
Yes, the triple-digit heat is here, and it is going to get really hot. I mean, lows in the 80s.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to believe.
Yeah.
And this is kind of perfect time to hold our fan drive, because this is going to just be a reminder for everyone how hot it is. A lot of us, though, have the luxury of staying indoors in an AC environment, but for so many in our community, that's just not an option. And 17's Kevin Sherritt joins us live this morning outside at Compassion Corner, not only talking about our forecast, but our annual fan drive and why it's so important for you and our community to come on out and donate. Kev?
Well, Alex, I'll say it's nice to be outside our studios once again. This is the first drive that we've had since the pandemic here at Compassion Corner, and it feels good to be back. And today we are talking about our Keep Kern County Cool Fan Drive. It's something we hold every year because there are so many people in our community that don't have the luxury of an air conditioner or even a swamp cooler. All they do is rely on a fan, especially the elderly in our community. And that's why we're asking you to come out today and support our cause. Now, I want to remind everybody watching, today is not a day to come down and pick up a fan. It's a day to drop off a new or gently used fan for the community. There will be pickup dates that we'll talk about a little later on our broadcast, but today we are just dropping these fans off for those who need them. Let's talk about that extreme heat, because we are going to see the temperatures really rise here in the next several days. Today will be near 100, but tomorrow that's when we really start to see the heat around the area. We have the excessive heat warning in place for all of Kern County, and this is in place until 8 p.m. on Saturday. Take a look at our heat index. Again, this is a mix of humidity and temperatures and kind of what we feel like when we see these warm temperatures. And you can see just how warm it is going to get, even though our ambient temperature is expected to be a little bit warmer than this. Now, the other thing we're going to see today is, I talked about it yesterday, some clouds drifting in from the southeast. And that's what we're seeing right now. So we will see a thin layer of clouds throughout the day. 72 degrees, a northwest wind at 3 right now. It feels perfect. As we take a look at the hour by hour here, we're expecting those 90s, and yes, we'll be right near 100. We're going to be flirting with it. 55 degrees out of Tehachapi right now, a southeast wind light at 3. As we take a look at the hour by hour here, we'll see some clouds throughout the day and temperatures expected into the lower 90s. But again, the heat is on. We'll talk much more about that and our fan drive coming up in just a few minutes. Back over to you.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. Your time now is 5:03, and right now President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin are meeting face-to-face at a time when tensions between the U.S. and Russia are at their highest in years. I want to take you live to the scene, and you can see this is where the meeting is happening right now in Geneva. NBC's Susan McGinnis tells us what to expect for today.
Alex, today in Geneva, the historic summit between President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin, a high-stakes meeting with low expectations. Today in Geneva, Switzerland, the first face-to-face meeting between President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Are you ready for tomorrow? Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Among the agenda items at the so-called high-stakes summit, nuclear arms, election interference, and recent ransomware attacks on the U.S. gas and meat supplies, which the U.S. blames on Russian hackers. The president says most of America's allies support the meeting, as do many Democratic lawmakers, while some Republicans say the president isn't tough enough on Russia and is rewarding Putin by meeting him.
The U.S. must approach Vladimir Putin with a firm hand and demand accountability in a way that President Trump never did. I expect President Biden will do exactly that.
Until he acts with strength and with vigor, then Vladimir Putin is going to know he still has the upper hand.
Former U.S. Ambassador to Russia Mike McFaul says for Putin, the stakes are low.
Vladimir Putin didn't ask for it. All he has to do is show up, stand next to the President of the United States, and that's a win for him.
The U.S. president optimistic but armed with a warning if Russian aggression continues.
Then we will respond. We will respond in kind.
President Biden seeking a more stable and predictable relationship with a man he calls bright, tough, and a killer. After the summit, there will be no joint news conference. The two presidents will address the cameras separately. In Washington, Susan McGinnis, 17 News.
Here at home, the city of Wasco will not follow in Delano's footsteps and fly the pride flag over City Hall this month. That decision coming last night during a Zoom meeting in which the Wasco City Council heard arguments both for and against the proposal. Wasco Mayor Alex Garcia argued flying the flag would show support for the LGBTQ community in Wasco.
It's not important enough that I'm the first openly LGBT elected official in the county of Kern. What's important is that I'm not the last, that we send a signal to other disenfranchised communities and youth in the city of Wasco and other communities of rural Kern that you are valued, you are important.
3 council members voted no on the proposal and 1 was absent. At least 1 councilman noted while he supports the LGBTQ community, the move could obligate the city to fly other groups' flags over City Hall in the future. A large vegetation fire broke out in Lake Isabella yesterday. The Yankee Fire burned more than 30 acres, prompting closures along Highway 178 and evacuation warnings for those nearby. This morning, 1 lane along the highway has been reopened and all evacuation warnings are lifted. The Kern County Fire Department says the fire is now 40% contained and forward progress has been stopped. Crews were on scene throughout the night in order to reach full containment. And with this devastating heat and the exceptional drought comes extreme fire danger. According to CAL FIRE, more than 19,000 acres have burned in California so far this year. You're asked to create a defensible space around your home by clearing out dry brush, plants, and leaves. This will form a fire break. So if a wildfire does come your way, your home could be more protected.
Time now 5:07 and taking a look around the state, 10 vaccinated Californians are more than $1 million richer today. During a special reopening celebration at Universal Studios in Hollywood, Governor Gavin Newsom announced the winning numbers for the final Vax for the Win cash giveaway. The winners will each get $1.5 million. No one from Kern County won the big prize. 4 out of the 10 winners are from Los Angeles County, the most populated county in the state. Meantime, the state of California has agreed not to impose greater coronavirus restrictions on church gatherings than it does on retail establishments. The court settlement provides more than $2 million in legal fees to lawyers who challenge the rules as a violation of religious freedom. The lawsuits were brought by Father Trevor Burfitt, a Catholic priest in Bakersfield, who sued in Kern County Superior Court. The settlement includes a permanent injunction in line with Supreme Court rulings that found restrictions on houses of worship cannot exceed those on retail businesses.
The Bakersfield Police Department will conduct a DUI and driver's license checkpoint tonight. The department said the checkpoint will be set up between 6 p.m. through 1 a.m. tomorrow morning. Officers will check for signs of alcohol or drug impairment and proper licensing. Penalties stemming from drunk driving arrests can include jail time, fines, court fees, and DUI classes that could cost more than $10,000. A new report ranks Bakersfield drivers as the 3rd worst in the nation. Quote Wizard, an online insurance marketplace, does a study every year on the best and worst drivers by city. They track information on accidents, DUIs, speeding tickets, and citations for the 70 largest cities in America. According to their findings, Bakersfield ranked 11th worst for accidents, 3rd worst for DUIs, 18th worst for speeding, 12th worst for citations. And another study done by Smart Growth America, Bakersfield is also the worst city for pedestrian fatalities.
Now to an update on a story we brought you yesterday. The Lake Isabella family is $10,000 richer this morning after taking home first place in a reality TV show.
Just one Survivalist.
That was the moment Paul Arms, his wife Anna, and kids Alex and Max took home the winning prize on BYU's TV's Survivalist series. The family was flown to Moab, Utah for a week of competing in the family survival competition. Friends and family gathered for a watch party last night in Lake Isabella, waiting anxiously for the good news. If you missed out, you can watch the full episode of Survivalist on byutv.org. Congratulations to the Arms family.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
Welcome back. Breaking overnight after weeks of a peaceful ceasefire, airstrikes between Israel and Hamas lit up the Gaza skyline overnight. The Israeli Defense Force says it launched airstrikes against Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip in retaliation for incendiary balloons fired from the territory. The IDF issued a statement saying its fighter jets had hit military compounds operated by Hamas in Khan Yunis and Gaza City. It said terrorist activity took place in the compound and that the IDF was prepared for all scenarios. Several balloons were sent from Gaza into Israel earlier that day, causing multiple fires, according to the Israeli Fire Service. It is the first major flare-up since 11 days of fighting between the two sides ended in a ceasefire last month. Well, astronauts will conduct a spacewalk today to install new solar arrays to help power the International Space Station. We're taking a live look at NASA as crews prepare for that spacewalk. NASA flight engineer Shane Kimbrough and ESA astronaut Thomas Pesquet will conduct the spacewalk, which will be the 239th in support of station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades. Kimbrough and Pesquet will also conduct another spacewalk on Sunday to work on the solar arrays. And take a look at this. Red Bull showcased its Formula One car with an incredible stunt that saw a plane fly inverted right above the race car. The driver of that car, former F1 champion David Coulthard, had a mirror installed in his cockpit that was tilted in order to allow him to see the plane flying above him. The pilot Martin Sanka said he couldn't even see the car and had to look away at the runway in order to judge his distance from the ground. Wow, that is so remarkable.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
And welcome back. A popular bike and treadmill from Peloton were vulnerable to hackers, according to the security firm McAfee. The vulnerability could allow anyone with physical access to a Peloton bike plus or Peloton tread to use a USB drive to upload malware onto the internet-connected system, potentially giving hackers access to user data and even the camera or microphone. Peloton said in a statement, in part, that the company addressed the issue with a mandatory software update last week.
What started as a dream is turning into a reality for a Texas couple, going above and beyond to help the students they work with daily by letting them put their best foot forward. Noelle Walker has the story.
Long before students are in classrooms, they've heard lessons from Dr. Seuss. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. But what if the shoes look like this?
So I was noticing that there was a lack of quality shoes in the gym.
Football coach Tanner Craven and his PE teacher wife Courtney wanted to help.
It was honestly a dream that Tanner had, a literal dream about 10 years ago that he woke up and told me, you know, hey, I had this crazy dream that we were going to start this nonprofit organization called Souls for Souls.
That crazy dream became a nonprofit reality during their pandemic downtime.
The opportunity to give a kid a pair of, $40, $50, $60 pair of shoes is the difference in maybe 2 pair of jeans and 2 shirts that he can wear to school.
A holiday shoe drive brought in 80 pairs. They kept putting one foot in front of the other, and this spring, Souls for Souls collected 275 pairs of shoes that went to 7 schools in Allen, Plano, and Richardson ISDs. It's a ministry of shoes. Each pair comes with a prayer card.
It's to give them hope and hope that, these pair of shoes may be good for you.
And we also, want to make sure that the kids know that they have a purpose in life and, they can set goals and they can set those attainable goals and they can accomplish them.
Oh, the places they'll go with the right shoes to take them there.
And live life to the fullest and show all the joy that kids should show.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.